Oh, okay, all right. I've done that before. I'll talk to you later.
Good morning, everyone. It is 10 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and call to order this meeting of the License and Variance Board. Today is Wednesday, October 12th. I'm joined today. My name is Penny Masheri. I'm the Deputy City Administrator here and Chair of this board. To my left, I have Mr. Bo Jones, who's our Assistant Director of Public Works, and Mary Moore, our Library Director, joining us today. We have a few items of business, so we're just going to take them one by one. Our first item is item 2A. 2022 request for V22057 to allow a second accessory structure on lot 393. That address is 857 Woodleaf Park Drive, and the applicant is James Boris. Ms. Crow, if you would please provide us the background.
All right. Good morning, Caitlin Crow, Planner 1, Community Development. So these are two variances that them together. As you know, you are going to be voting on them separately, but we'll go ahead and do the two together here. So this first variance is V22-057 to allow for a second accessory structure on the property. And then the second is V22-058 to allow for an encroachment into the 75-foot impervious surface area setback. The subject parcel is a 0.93 acre lot located at the western end of the cul-de-sac on Woodleaf Park Drive. There is a stream that runs through the northern border of the property and continues through the adjacent properties. Back in January of 2022, the applicant placed the shed in the rear of the property, which was unfortunately in the 75-foot impervious area setback, and a variance was not obtained at that time. In addition to the shed, the applicant is proposing to build a new 1,182 square foot in-ground swimming pool, as well as the surrounding decking in the rear yard, which will also be within that 75-foot impervious surface area setback. To bring the property just completely into compliance, the applicant is requesting both of those variances I mentioned earlier. Currently, the rear yard is encumbered by the state's 25-foot stream buffer, the city's 50-foot undisturbed stream buffer, and again, that 75-foot impervious surface area setback. It is only by 388 square feet, since the proposed pool is trying to take out of the stream buffers as much as possible without affecting the house foundation and the side setback. No other variances are needed for this property for the two construction items. The applicant will mitigate the encroachment by installing a modified French drain system behind the pool. The assistant city engineer has reviewed the application and accompanying mitigation plan, and is supportive of the method used. Similar variances have been approved throughout the city where a proper mitigation plan has been submitted and approved. It has been properly posted, and after reviewing the variance application, staff does support the requests and recommends approval with the following 2 conditions. The first is our standard condition. Approval of the requested variance shall be conditioned upon the development of the property and substantial compliance with the mitigation plan submitted with the variance application. And number 2 is a stormwater inspection and maintenance agreement must be completed and recorded with the Cobb County Superior Court, and an as-built certification statement submitted to community development prior to completion of the permit. And with that, I can answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Ms. Crow. Members of the board, do you guys have any questions? Wonderful.
All right, thank you.
Is the applicant here? Wonderful. If you would, please make your way to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is James E. Boris, and I reside at 857 Woodleaf Park Drive.
Great, thank you for coming here today. Ms. Crow's provided us a summary of the 2 variance requests that we're going to take, and again, we're going to vote on them separately, just so you know. We'll do one, call for the public hearing, and then we'll vote on the second one. Do you have any additional information to add?
No, it's all been uploaded, and I'm sure you've all been fascinated reading it.
Always very fascinated reading it. It's wonderful. Board members, do you guys have any questions for the applicant? Ms. Crow also read a standard condition and an additional condition as part of the process. If we're to approve the item today, are you comfortable with those conditions and you're familiar and ready to move forward? Okay, great, thank you. This is a public hearing, so I'm going to go ahead and ask if there's anyone here who'd like to speak in favor or against the item. If you would please come forward and state your name for the record. Let the record reflect that no one has come to speak forward for the public hearing. With that, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve variance request V22-05 393 located at 857 Woodleaf Park Drive, James Boris.
Second.
This item has been properly moved and seconded. If you would please vote. Great, this item is approved by a vote of 3-0. We'll move on to the next item, which is item 2B, 2022-497, a public hearing and variance request for V22 impervious structure, surface area setback, lot 393, 857 Woodleaf Park Drive. James Forrest is the applicant. You've already provided the background, unless anyone needs to hear that or have any more questions for staff. Okay, great. We'll just go ahead then, and I'll call for a public hearing. If there's anyone here who'd like to speak in favor or against, please step forward. Again, let the record reflect there's no one here to speak for the public hearing. And with that, unless you guys have any questions for the applicant, we can move forward, and I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve variance request V22-058, allow encroachment into the 75-foot impervious surface area setback, Woodleaf Park Drive, James Boris.
Second.
This item has been properly moved and seconded. If you guys would, please vote. Great. Item 2B is approved by a vote of 3-0. You're good to go. Thank you for coming today. Have a nice day. Item 2C, 2022-498, public hearing variance request V22062, allow new construction on lot of record below minimum requirements. Lot 633 at 2648 Davenport Street. The applicant is Rowan Brown. Ms. Crow, if you would please provide us the background.
All right, again, Caitlin Crow, Planner 1, Community Development. So this is for V22-062 to allow for that new construction on a lot of record below minimum requirements. So this subject parcel is a 0.19 acre lot located on the west side of Davenport Street. This subject parcel was originally platted back in 1940, which was prior to the current zoning ordinance, which was implemented, as we know, in 1976. The applicant is proposing to remove the existing structure and construct a roughly 2,700 square foot, 2-story, single-family home on the lot, which will consist of 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms with a hardy plank facade all the way around. This subject property is 8,500 square feet, whereas the R15 zoning requirement is for a minimum of 15,000 square feet in size. However, since this property was an existing lot of record, again, originally platted back in 1940, the hardship is not self-created. The proposed home will meet all other R15 zoning requirements, and thus no additional variances are required at this time. Community Development has not received any calls in opposition to this request, and it has been properly posted. So, after reviewing the variance application, staff does support this request and recommends approval with the following standard stipulation. Approval of the requested variance shall be conditioned upon development of the property in substantial compliance with the site plan and elevations submitted with the variance application. And I can answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Crowe. Board members, do you guys have any questions for staff?
All right, thank you.
Sounded like an alarm going off. Did you guys hear that? Is the applicant here? Wonderful. If you would please make your way to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Ron Brown regarding 2648 Davenport.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here. Similar to the first applicant, Ms. Crowe has provided a summary of the variance request. Do you have anything to add for the board? Okay, great. Board members, do you guys have any questions for the applicant? Obviously, staff has recommended a standard stipulation and condition on this if the item moves forward. You're familiar with that and you're good to go?
Yes.
Wonderful. This is a public hearing. If there's anyone here who'd like to speak in favor or against, if you would like to come to the podium, let the record reflect that there's no one here to speak on this public hearing. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve variance request V22-062, allow new construction on the lot of record below minimum requirements, lot 633, 2648 Davenport Street, Roan Brown.
Second.
This item has been properly moved and seconded. If you would please vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. Our final item today is item 2D, 2022-499. This is a public hearing in variance 3 to reduce the rear setback from 20 feet to 19 feet on lot 629, 3213 Millwood Trail. The applicant is Brian Barber. Ms. Crowe, if you would please provide us the background.
All right, again, Caitlin Crowe, Planner 1, Community Development. So this variance is V22-063 to reduce that rear setback from 20 feet to 19 feet. This subject parcel is a 0.19 acre lot as well, located on the east side of Millwood Trail, right near the intersection of Millwood Trail and Fieldwood Drive. Back in April 2022, code enforcement did go out to the subject property regarding unpermitted work in the rear of the home. Shortly thereafter, the applicant did submit for a building permit to remodel the existing porch, expand the existing deck roughly 230 square feet, and then enclose roughly 125 square feet for some outdoor living space. After the deck was permitted and then inspected, it was discovered that the plans didn't match the size of the deck on the property. Based on the submitted plans, the additional 2 feet on the back of the deck would put the deck over the rear setback by roughly a foot, causing the need for this rear setback reduction. The applicant is proposing to retain the 12-foot by 22-foot deck and the enclosed porch section off the rear of the home. The subject property is perpendicular to the street and then narrows significantly in the rear, causing quite a pointed yard. The existing home is situated in the middle of the lot, leaving a narrow rear yard to work with. Due to the geometry of the lot and the location of the home, in order to maintain the same deck width along the entirety of the rear of the home, the applicant has encroached into the rear setback by, again, just 1 foot off of the northeastern corner of the deck. So, again, due to that geometry of the property, a continuation of the existing deck would be difficult to locate elsewhere on the property. So the hardship is not self-created. Community Development has not received any calls in opposition to this request, and it has been properly posted. So after reviewing the variance application, staff does support the request and recommends approval with the following standard condition. Approval of the requested variance shall be conditioned upon the substantial compliance of the property with the site plan and elevations submitted with the variance application. And again, I can answer any questions.
Thank you. Do you guys have any questions for staff?
All right, thank you.
Is the applicant here? Wonderful. If you please make your way to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Brian Barber on behalf of 3213 Millwood Trail.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here today. Ms. Crow's provided us a summary of the variance request. Do you have any additional information to add?
No.
Okay. Do you guys have any questions for the applicant? Okay. We do have a standard condition and stipulation that Ms. Crow read. You understand that and prepared to adhere to that as you move forward?
Yes.
Okay, great. This is a public hearing. I'd like to go ahead and open the floor if there's anyone who'd like to come to the podium to speak in favor or against. Let the record reflect that it's only staff and the applicant at this time in council chambers, and we have no one here to speak. With that, I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve variance request V22-063, reduce the rear setback from 20 feet to 19 feet, lot 629, 3213 Millwood Trail, Brian Barber.
Second.
This item has been properly moved. Item 2D is approved by a vote of 3-0. Thank you very much, and
Thank
have a
you very
wonderful
much.
day. The last item on our agenda is the approval of minutes. Item 3A, MIN 2022-70. Since some variance board meeting minutes, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
The item has been properly moved and seconded. If you would please. Item 3A has been approved by a vote of 3-0. Unless there's any additional business to be brought before this body, let's consider this meeting adjourned at 10:16 a.m. Thank you, everyone.